Okay, welcome to Advanced Tutorial Class Mathematics, and today we are going to be doing quadratic equation, but in this case a much more complex form of quadratic equation. Now the question says the roots of the equation 2x squared minus 7x plus 4 equals 0 are alpha and beta. Find the value of 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta, and the second part of the question says alpha beta over alpha cube plus beta cube. Now to solve a problem like this, I'm already giving the equation, the quadratic equation. So I'm going to work with the quadratic equation. So this is quadratic equation, 2x squared minus 7x plus 4 equals to 0. First of all, let's relate this to the standard form of a quadratic equation, which is what? Ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. And also we're going to relate this to the alpha beta form of a quadratic equation, which says x squared, follow me, x squared minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta equals 0. So I did two things here. I related the equation, which is 2x squared minus 7x plus 4, to the standard form of a quadratic equation, and to the alpha and beta form of a quadratic equation. Now from here, let me just quickly explain how I came about this. When you're looking for the root of a quadratic equation, there's always two numbers that once you add or subtract them, you're going to get the bx, and once you multiply those same numbers, you're going to get the c part. So I'm just putting this as what? The two values, right? Alpha and beta. If you add alpha and beta, you're going to get this, and if you multiply alpha and beta, you're going to get this. So this is just how this equation came about. Now let me call this equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3. Now from equation 2, I'm going to do something. This is what I'm going to do. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals to what? 0. See what I'm going to do? I'll divide through by a. So this is going to be what? X squared plus what? B over a or x. Now I'm going to take this to the what? Right hand side. So it's going to be what? Equals to minus c over a. So I'll call this equation 4. Okay? Equation 4. Now for my equation 2, I have to make my equation 2 look like what? Equation 4. And how do I do that? Divide through by what? 2. Equation of x squared. So this is going to be what? 2x squared minus 7x plus 4 divided by 2 divided by 2 divided by 2. Remember it's equals to 0. So 2 cancels 2, isn't it? So I'm going to have this to be x squared minus 7 over 2x plus, no, not plus, because this will go over that side. Now 2 divided by 2 is 1, 2 divided by 4, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that's what? Equals to minus 2. Once 2 go over that side, this is 4 divided by 2, which is 2. So when 2 go over that side, it's going to be minus 2. So this is. So this is equation 5. Okay, from equation 3 here, I'll relate it to what? Equation 5. So I'm going to relate equation 3 to equation 5. Let me relate it. This is x squared minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta equals to 0. So I'm going to take alpha beta to the what? Right hand side. So it's going to be x squared minus alpha plus beta x equals to what? Minus alpha beta. Now relate this to this. You will discover that what? Minus alpha beta is equals to what? Minus alpha plus beta rather is equals to what? Minus 7 over what? 2. Minus 7 over 2. And minus alpha beta is the same thing as what? Minus 2, isn't it? Minus alpha beta is the same thing as what? Minus 2. So if you even look at this part, you will discover that minus can cancel minus. So alpha beta is the same thing as what? 2. So from here, we can now solve the problem. Remember our problem says, the first part says 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta. While the second part says alpha beta over alpha cube plus beta cube. Okay, so the first question says A equals to 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta. So let's solve that. 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta. Taking the LCM here is alpha beta, right? So this is alpha beta. Alpha beta divided by alpha is beta. Beta times 1 is beta. Plus alpha beta divided by beta is what? Alpha. Alpha times 1 is alpha. Isn't it? So this is what the same thing. Beta plus alpha is the same thing as saying alpha plus beta over alpha beta. Isn't it? But from here we have it that minus alpha plus beta is the same thing as what? Minus 7 over 2. And what we need here is alpha beta. So what we simply do is to multiply 2 by what? Minus, right? So when you multiply this by minus, you have it as what? Minus cancel minus, and minus cancel minus. So alpha plus beta is the same thing as what? 7 over 2. So I'll put 7 over 2 in my what? The numerator. So this is 7 over 2 over alpha beta is what? 2, isn't it? So this is 7 over 2 divided by 2. 7 over 2 divided by 2 over 1. So this is saying 7 over 2 times 1 over 2, which is 7 over 4. Therefore, 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta is what? 7 over 4. So the last part of the equation is what? Alpha beta divided by alpha cube plus beta cube. Alpha beta divided by alpha cube plus beta cube. We are asked to look for this. Recall that from our problem we have alpha beta to be 2 and alpha plus beta to be 7 over 2 from our problem, right? So we are going to substitute alpha beta to be 2, right? Alpha cube plus beta cube is the same thing as saying alpha plus beta all cube minus 3 alpha beta into alpha plus beta. Okay? Alpha cube plus beta cube is the same thing as saying alpha plus beta cube minus 3 alpha beta into alpha plus beta. So let's simplify. This is 2 divided by alpha plus beta. Remember, it's 7 over 2. So this is 7 over 2 all cube minus 3 into alpha beta, which is what? 2. All into what? Alpha plus beta, which is what? 7 over 2. So now let's simplify this. So 7 raised to the power of 3 is what? 300 and what? 43 over what? 2 raised to the power of 3 is what? 2 times 2, 4 times 2, 8. Minus 3 times 2 is what? 6. All multiplied by what? 7 over 2. Isn't it? Now, let's solve this further. So from here, 2 divided by 2 is what? 1. While 2 divided by minus 6 is what? Minus 3. Well, let me just put 3 here because I have a minus. Okay, so from here I can simplify further. Minus 3 times 7 is what? Minus 21. 343 over 8 minus 21 over 1. Now let's take the LCM. The LCM is 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 1 times 343 is 343. Minus 8 divided by 1 is 8. 8 times 21 is 168. So this is what? 375. 375 over 8. Can I simplify this further? You know, the denominator is what I've been solving since, and this is the answer, 175 over 8. The whole of this, once you calculate it, you get 175 divided by 8. Now let's continue. This 2, right? 2 over 175 over 8. Isn't it? So I can say this is what? Equals to 2 over 1 times, okay, let me use divided by 175 over 8. Which is something I'm saying 2 times what? 8 over 175. 2 times 8 is what? 16 over 175. So this is the final answer. You can't simplify this fraction any longer. So this is the answer for what? This problem. This is the B part of the problem. Alpha beta divided by alpha cube plus beta cube. Thank you for watching and have a nice time. Please do well to subscribe. Click the subscribe button, and thank you. Bye for now.